or you want me to? There you go. Thank you. So good evening, everyone. It is 7:08, and this is the April meeting for the Local Development Council. Today is April the 16th, 2025. So we're going to turn it right over to Ms. Holt Streeter for her welcome remarks.
Welcome everyone and to the Local Development Council monthly meeting on April the 16th. We thank you all for joining us, for the outstanding members who have been committed to the process of LDC. Thank you very much, Chair Lattimore and Vice Chair Delegate Veronica Turner. We thank you all so very much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we will move to the approval of the March 2025 LDC minutes. So did everyone receive a copy? Usually Alana sends them out. If there are no objections, I will make a motion to approve the minutes as stated.
Second.
Okay. I, Dr. Toy Lattimore, hereby move that the March 2025 meeting minutes for the LDC be approved as is. Are there any objections? All those in favor? Aye.
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 All those not in favor of them? Okay, so the minutes, with that being said, the minutes for the March 2025 LDC are approved as stated. So for county executive updates, Barbara, I will turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you very much. Just wanted to let you all know, as many of you all may know, in June, we will have a new county executive, a new administration. And so under the also Brooks transition over to Jackson administration, we are having some of our staff begin to transition themselves. And so one that really works directly with us to share with you is John Urson. So his last day was last week. So you may have received an out of office email when you replied all. So I realized I did not send an email to let you all know. So I do apologize. So he's no longer with the Office of the County Executive. We wished him well. And so we're beginning with the transition as we see fit here in the office. So I wanted to let you all know that as well. Number two is in terms of I do hope all of you all are receiving our council, what we call our connection newsletter from our office. If you are not, please be so kind to send an email to Alana, and she'll make sure that you get the link to receive that information. So that'll keep you posted on what we're doing countywide. We have upcoming Growing with Pride in terms of the earth and green planting, and that's April the 26th. And we do want to make sure that you also receive our bi-weekly newsletter or email from the Office of Strategic Partnerships. So that is it for my remarks. And again, on behalf of County Executive Tara Jackson, we should most definitely thank you for your support and all the work that you have been doing as it relates to the LDC. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you for that report. So we're going to move along to the elected officials report. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make a change to the agenda tonight. Delegate Woods is not present tonight, but for Tequila, if you could send in a written report, just a short email to Alana, and she can send that out to everyone. I wanted to devote this time to Delegate Turner to explain to the members that are here tonight exactly what an overall view of the LDC and the funding, because I've received a lot of questions. So Tequila, if you could just send us a short email of his updates, then I'll have Alana to send that out. Is that okay, Tequila?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, no problem. So at this time, I am going to turn it over to Delegate Turner in regards to the LIG funding and an overview of that. Delegate Turner, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I want to Welcome, everybody that's on this call today, even members and then the guests. Um, First of all, I just wanted to say I will be sending my end of session letter to y'all. And so you'll get my copy as well as Senator Muse and Delegate Woods probably will send her copy so y'all can see what happened during this the 90-day session that we had. It was rough. I just want to let everybody know. But we worked hard for 90 days and we passed the budget. So you will get the information on everything that went on within the 90 days. But first of all, I want to welcome everybody anyway. And I want to talk to the members of the Prince George County LDC. Now, I sent out a statement. I don't know if everybody got it or not, but I'm going to read my statement so understanding, so everybody will know what I'm trying to say.
Did everybody get the letter?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
Okay.
you.
I'm going to read it and make you understand what I'm trying to say. A lot of our members really been contacting me and Dr. Lattimore about where we go from here and about the LDC and what it consists of and what's our role. So that's why I want to take my time into reading everything that people so you will understand, and we'll take questions afterwards if you don't mind. I'm writing to provide firm necessary clarifications regarding the authority and the responsibilities outlined in the governing bylaws of Prince George's County LDC, especially in the light of the recent discussion surrounding the county council's role in the local impact grant allocation process. Let me be clear that the LDC bylaws under which we operate were especially drafted under the direction and the leadership of Maryland Senate President Bill Ferguson. These bylaws was purposely designed to ensure that all authority for the allocations of the local impact grant fund reside with the county exec and the LDC, and the county council role is strictly limited to approval, not modification of the executive spending proposals. The Prince George's County LDC bylaws adopted pursuant to state law governing revenue from video lottery terminal explicitly state the following. Article 2, the purpose. The local development council shall provide adequate input to the county exec on the use of local impact grant funds. The council will review the proposals, produces, and make recommendations based on our community needs and priorities. Article 2, the membership role, recommendation of the LDC shall be submitted to the county exec, who shall develop and transmit a proposed spending plan to the county council for approval. Now, where do these bylaws permit or contemplate interference, redirection, or allocation of the funding by the county council? Their role is to approve and propose plan, not revise it. The structure was enacted and designed by shielding community voices and the LDC recommendation from political interference. This principle is not unique to Prince George's County. The structure of the LDC governance across the state of Maryland reflect the same intent, division role. Anne Arundel County LDC. The executive makes decisions, allocation decision based on the LDC recommendation. The county council plays no role beyond budget approval. Pimlico Community Development in Baltimore City. The PCDA recommends allocations directly to the mayor's office. The county council is not permitted to amend or redirect funding recommendations. Rochester and Ocean Down casinos. The LDC proposed funding priorities which are sent to the county commissioners. The commissioners approve the budget without line items edited or overrides. These jurisdictions reflect the legislative intent, codified the Maryland gambling statutes, and reinforced in our bylaws, ensuring that the community leads funding decisions respected and executive without political distort. Any suggestion that the county council has the authority to amend the LDC recommendations or alter allocations is woefully inaccurate and in direct violation of the structure outstanding by Senate President Ferguson and the Maryland General Assembly. As steward of this process, we are duty bound to preserve the community's voice, honor our legislated mandates, and prevent any errors of transparent, equitable structure that the council was created by uphold. The people of Prince George's County deserve nothing less. If needed, I am prepared to provide any documentations, including comparison bylaws from any Maryland LDC to reinforce this point. Let us remain unified in our purpose and unwavering in our defense and the process entrusted to us. Sincerely, Veronica Turner. I want everyone to understand why I did a lot about trying to find out what is our purpose of this LDC, what we're supposed to do if our money was taken from us. We started off from the last county, the county exec right now was what was his name?
What,
What's our
County
county?
Exec Baker?
Baker was our county exec who started this LDC when the MGM was built. We had a mile radius, we had a 3-mile radius, we had a 6-mile radius, and we was supposed to educate all the people of how to do the grants, which we did. I want y'all to know, which we did. We had classes on how the people who sent us applications, we had a whole lot of applications. We had a couple of receptions of giving the people the money. The LDC, I want y'all to know, I have been there. I was one of the originals. I want everybody to know I was one of the originals. Me, Obie Patterson was there. and Chris Valderrama started off. Now that it seems like we don't have a purpose of what we're supposed to be doing. But I want everybody to know we did a lot of research of all these other LDCs of the Anne Arundel County, the Pimlico, Worcester, Ocean Downs. We checked with Live. We did a lot of research on what we're supposed to be doing. And if we were wrong, we are willing to apologize when we are wrong. We are willing to, number one, correct any mistakes that we made. Nothing was told to us that we did not handle the money that was given to us from the beginning. I remember 850,000. Then it went to 400,000. Then it went to zero. That is not fair. That is not right. Something is not legal. So I want everybody to know we are the best LDC, this group that we have today. Y'all are the best. And I have been through a lot of people who has come and who has gone. But all of you today are the best of the best. Y'all did what y'all supposed to do. Didn't do anything illegal. We did not make the funds. We didn't do anything with the money, but the right thing with the money. Okay, so all of these people who applied to us of the community within the 6 mile radius, we're not supposed to go out of the 6 mile radius. That was stated to us. Now, when we had our last county exec, Alsabrook, okay, we supposed to report to her before she left. Now we have an interim person. Now we're going to have a new county exec. We're going to have to regroup. Our monies need to be restored, not wait 2 more years before it's restored. I read what they said it's not going to be, we're going to be zero from 25, 26, and 27.
So Delegate Turner, let me interrupt you there because I brought that up to Ms. Holt Streeter, and she said that 26 and 27 were not zeroed out, but they were on the sheet. So Barbara, are you still online?
I see her name. There she is.
Yes, I'm sorry. There was another meeting taking place that they needed my attention. My apologies.
Did you hear the question?
Yes, go ahead and ask Barbara what she said about 26.
Barbara, did you hear my question? So
I didn't, ma'am.
the question was, it's not a question, I'm proposing the question because we proposed this I asked this question at the last month's meeting. So on the revised draft 1A, 2A of the LIG budget, where it has 26 and 27, there were zeros in those columns. And so Delegate Turner and I were under the auspice that those funds, we would not be receiving funds in 26 and 27. Last time we met, you said that was incorrect. We would have the opportunity to compete for those funds. And if I'm incorrect, just can you explain to everyone what you explained to me and to Delegate Turner?
Yes, ma'am. So every year there's budget. So this is what they call multi-year. So we're looking at several years in advance for planning purposes. And so although it may say zero for 26, that does not mean it will be zero. So I can't say whether or not how much money that will be because everything depends on the budget. As what we're looking at right now, we have a deficit in the budget for this year. So 26, they may have money available that they will set aside for local development council. That I couldn't speak to that at this particular point because we won't know that until further along for next year.
So with that said, and the county council put in zero, and just for full transparency for everyone on this call, according to the county council, the LDC is not even supposed to be giving out grant money, period. because it's not in state law. So I guess I'm kind of conflicted on, we will have an opportunity to compete, yet the county council says that we're not supposed to be handling grant money whatsoever.
No, and the word compete is not the word that I would use. You're not
Okay,
competing with anyone. It's that
okay,
if the money is available, then you
available.
have the money available, as what has happened over the last few years, where you all have looked and you bring your committee together, you decide which nonprofits will receive the grant. So that's what you would continue to do if the money is available. I'll pause for a moment, because just like what is taking place now with this second, and I'm going to use the word second pot of money per se, for the $1.8 million, that's another pot of money that, according to the local impact grant spending plan, that's what the next task we were asking you all to do, is to review and provide any comments or recommendations on this $1.8 million. So that was different from the first pot of money that you all provide recommendations, presented it back to us, to the office of the county executive, and we did what we needed to do, and then we presented it to county council. So this next 1.8 is what, probably towards the end of that county council meeting, that's when council member Edward Burrows said, here's this next $1.8 million.
Okay, but he also stated that according to state law, the LDC was not authorized to receive any money to give out to nonprofits. So my question, and I think with everybody, for me, the elephant in the room is, why provide recommendations if, according to the county council, we're not supposed to have any funding whatsoever because it's not written in state law?
Well, I think the word, and I'm not an attorney, okay, but I'm looking at what has been written. What I'm reading here is that there's no mention that the law speaks on a requirement for the LDC to receive funds, not a requirement, but money can be given, just has taken place over the last 6, 7, 8 years prior to me even being here. So money has been given to local development council to do what you all have done. Money just was not given this year.
Correct.
That can change for next year. It will be a new administration, new county council members. So anything can change as elected official changes. A Delegate Turner knows as well. Things change based on elected officials from that aspect as well.
But the key point is, if this is something that was discovered this year, this same county council and all its current members have been on that county council for the last 2 or 3 years. That should have been brought up the last 2 or 3 years, that we were not supposed to be handling grant funding. And then to me, that those funds, or that mistake, should have been rectified at that time and the funding restructured. You know, all of a sudden this year, it's, you're not supposed to have funding, you're not supposed to be handling funding. And that is what was reported in the hearing, and to me, and John told me as well. So I think going forward, because I'm not going to beat this with a bat, and my recommendation, I'm not going to be here, is somebody from the legal community within Prince George's County needs to clarify if and in fact the LDC should be giving out grants. That's number one. Number two is, where in state law does it state that we are not supposed to be handling or giving out any funding? That's a statement that I think needs to be clarified, because if we're not supposed to be handling any money, why would anyone consider giving the LDC funding if it's not in state law?
I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my whole point and my purpose. That was not our understanding when they put together, Baker put the LDC together. One of our purpose was to within the 3 mile, and then we went to 6 mile radius. We
Yes.
were supposed to help the community with grants. Okay. We set it up. We give classes. We presented the grants. We rated them. We did a whole lot of things. I want to know what's the purpose now since we don't have any money to do any of those things.
Well, as I was sharing, again, just this year you did not have the money, but you still had the responsibility to review and provide input to the budget. So you did provide input to the first budget, to the second pot of money, and so the LDC still reviews grant applications. So if money was available, you would still continue to do what you all have done over the last years prior. So that has not changed. If the money is available and are allocated in the budget, then you all would do the same process. Review the grant applications.
Why wasn't the money available? It's been available ever since I've been in the LDC. We started off with over $850,000 that was put there for us to use for grants for our community. And MGM puts that money in. We had people on the board from the MGM. We had people from all the communities. We supposed to have 15 members, which we don't have, but 13, I think now. Everyone needed to know. All these people in the LDC are very intelligent. They know how to do grants and how to train these people for the community of the job that we was put to do. I just don't understand. No one has yet explained this to Delegate Turner when
No,
I
I
saw what it was years ago from the beginning.
No, I definitely understand that, Delegate Turner.
Yes.
Yes. And that's not a decision from the Office of the County Executive. The Office of County Executive did not make a decision to say no money for local development council. That was not our decision. We have recommendations that were presented, including the recommendations. At that point, when it's then sent down to the county council, that is more of a conversation for the county council. That is not something that we said, no, you're not going to get any money. That was county council at that point.
Okay, so Mr. Lewis, you're with the MGM. So do you have any input on this?
So thank you for the question. We do have a meeting scheduled for next week, Monday, to discuss this in further detail. We were unfortunately shocked and caught off guard by this as well. So because of that, and we don't have all the information, I don't have all the information to share, we're going to sit down and take a deeper dive into the decisions that were made, the funding that was not provided to the LDC, and try to get an understanding as to why. So once I had that meeting, I would definitely provide an overview to the
Okay,
LDC
but I would
members.
like to respectfully ask that Delegate Turner and myself be included in that meeting.
Yes.
Absolutely. I will definitely send you a note, get your times of availability, just to make sure that we're aligned and we don't not include you into the meeting as well. So if you're available on Monday, I'll send you the time and the meeting invite. If you're not available, then we'll just have to reschedule
No,
it.
I'm gonna make myself available.
This Monday coming up?
Yeah, that's what I've been advised. It's going to be Monday. I'll have to check my calendar just to get the right date and time.
Okay.
When I get an opportunity to go do that, I'll just forward that to you, and you let me know if this is a meeting that you can attend. And again, if you can't,
No, I'm gonna make myself available.
okay, sounds good.
Okay, my one last question, and I'm not gonna berate this, but what is your understanding of the funding coming out of the MGM? Who does that funding go to? Because I've been on this LDC probably going on 6 years, and we've always received funding to give out to nonprofits that make a difference in the community. For example, like dental work. There's a lot of low-income families that can't afford to go to dentists. Hell, I can't afford to go to dentists sometimes because their prices are so high. But we all make that choice. Those were some of the types of services that this community was receiving. Fathers, single fathers. There are a lot of single fathers within Prince George's County, little that people know. They had a program for single fathers on, how they have, sole custody of their children. The mom was missing. So they were having classes like that with other single fathers to get some assistance. Classes on to help our youth that were, females that were pregnant, where they could go. Childcare at 3 months old, which a lot of daycare facilities don't even allow you to bring your child until they're like 6 months old or something like that. Food trucks, food banks. Those were some of the critical services that we were providing as the LDC. And you know what, Delegate Turner, we got 1.4 million at one time. Then it was cut to 850.
50.
Then they cut it in half, down to
Right.
0. So as a representative for the MGM, where, according to you, sitting on this board, what is that money supposed to be used for, and who or what organization is it supposed to go to?
Great question, and thank you. I think we're aligned on where the funding is to be delegated. Unfortunately, once we provide that particular funding as a organization and company, then we don't have oversight of the funding at that time.
So
Right?
when you said align, who is it supposed to go to?
Well, that's an interesting question, right? So it goes to the county, right? Then it goes to budget review, and depending on where the money is needed, MGM doesn't have the oversight just to say, hey,
Understand?
we don't have that oversight.
Okay, but for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been getting those funds from you, just so you know. We've been getting those funds from you. This is the first year that the county council has, and I'm just going to put it out, has taken that money and stated that they were using it for a leadership academy, which this LDC was never made aware of. That's $4.2 million. And it's the Edward Burroughs Leadership Academy. So had the county council come to the LDC and told us that's what they were doing, we would have supported them 100%, because there's nothing better than keep getting our youth and keeping them busy. The nonprofits that we had last year, they would have been elated to have utilized some of those students working or in the academy to come to some of these nonprofits and understand what some of the nonprofits were doing. They could have used that as volunteer hours towards their graduation. So it would have been a win-win for the county council and the LDC. But I will tell you, and everyone on this call will tell you, no one briefed this LDC that a leadership academy was being stood up by the county council. So I think that's not a lack of communication. I think it's a lack of transparency. And I would hope moving forward that the LDC and the county council could work better together when you're, building these types of frameworks. All those students spoke at the hearing, and I was very proud of them. In fact, I was shocked that that was something that they were doing. And I congratulated the county council on that, because that is an excellent idea. But I think that, you work better and everybody wins when information is communicated instead of doing it for political purposes. So as a representative of the MGM that sits on this LDC, I think that it's your responsibility to find out and to rectify this issue as far as, going forward, where that money or even recouping those funds back for the LDC. The money comes from the MGM. Now, I can walk to the MGM from my house. I was one of the protesters out there that didn't want the MGM. So I've been here since day one. So I know what was signed into law and what that money was supposed to be used for coming out of the MGM, because I attended all of those hearings. So we need to rectify this. And I think that as a member of this county council, that would, go into your arena. And we look forward Monday to attending a meeting to find out how this can be turned around and for you to educate people on these type of situations. Mr. Ballantyne?
Dr. Lattimore, I'm unfamiliar with the Leadership Academy that you spoke of. Is this a one-year Leadership Academy? Is this an academy that will continue year after year? How is that?
So,
What is this academy?
Mr. Ballantyne, I can't speak on if it's 1 year, 2 year academy. I know the funds are for 1 year. So I would hope that they're not using the funds for the next 2 years. But what really what really triggered me at that hearing was that we are allowing this academy, not we, the county council is allowing this academy to operate out of a church. And they are giving 4.2 million to the church. And the pastor stood up there and said that, yeah, we can pay off our mortgage. Well, Dr. Delegate Turner and I, we just kind of looked at each other when he talked about paying off his mortgage. And plus, the church is not within, I don't think, the 6 mile radius. So there's a lot of things that are not quite equitable with this arrangement. I wholeheartedly support an academy. However, if someone on his phone can tell me when the LDC was briefed that this was the framework that the county council was building, I'd like to know, maybe I missed the meeting, but I don't think so. So
Well, that was my only
Yeah.
only question.
I would think that it's 1 year money.
Okay, yeah, that was my question, is that if this academy is continuing the thought of continuing to receive funding from the various sources that they received it from, is probably their mindset. So would definitely be interested to see if this is 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or academy going forward.
Well, I think that it's going to be it's an academy that the county council is standing up, and I think the mindset is that it's going to continue every year. Okay. So I wouldn't stand up an academy and put all these resources in place thinking it's just only going to be 1 year. So I think the mindset is it's going to continue. But we have rules, we have bylaws, and you have to use that money within the county. And I think the way that they're doing it is that the high schools and the middle schools within the 6 mile radius, they're sending students to the church, or either the church is coming to them, one or the other, just to kind of keep it in the 6 mile radius. So that's something else that Mr. Lewis can look into. I don't have all the details, but again, this is why we need full transparency within the county. So does anybody else have any questions regarding what Delegate Turner spoke to you about? Any questions, comments? We do have one member, Evelyn, and I forgot Evelyn's last name. She has resigned because of this. And she no longer wants to be a part of that. So Barbara, as soon as she signs her letter, she sent it to me, but she didn't sign it. I will pass it on to you. Dr. Huggins has stated that she will be resigning as of June 1st, and she will send a letter to us. I would like to thank everybody on the LDC because we've done some amazing work. As
Yes.
Delegate Turner said, we, bless Kanika's heart. She did that workshop, and I have attended that workshop every year. And she walked all the nonprofits through how they apply for grants. And she has done a phenomenal job. I will always be indebted to her for helping the LDC do that. We had mid-year and end of the year reports. And I can tell you at first, the reports were not giving us the information that the LDC needed, such as, what did you do with the money? How did you spend it? When did you have these programs? How many of these programs did you have? And show us in detail what the budget was for and if you used it for overhead or personnel. Those type of questions were not on the original midpoint and end of the year reports that come into the LDC. Well, Letitia, Alana helped us restructure those, evaluate those those reports. They did a wonderful job, so I want to thank them both. And when we went out and sent out those reports, we received so much information from all the nonprofits about what they were doing. They could account for every dime that they spent of the grant money that we gave them, which was phenomenal. Because if we ever have an audit, we will pass, at least underneath Delegate Turner and my leadership. And I think under Pastor Robinson's leadership, because we have those reports. They were right on time. They sent them in on time. Evelyn and I reviewed the reports that came in this time, and they were excellent. People like Ebonique and Tequila, myself, Danny Moore King, we rated applications when they came in initially to make sure that they were eligible for grants. We looked at people's websites. We went around and dug deeper into their taxes. A couple of people, weren't by name on websites. So we turned that over to Delegate Turner's chief of staff so she could look into that. He could look into that further. We did our job. So we did exactly what we were supposed to do. So I want to thank everybody for that. And plus, we had an oversight committee for the first time this year where they monitored the grants. We assigned each one of you to a grant recipient so that when they have programs that they invite us to, that you can go to them. They like to see that. So unfortunately this year, we will not be having that because of this entire incident, and I'm just gonna call it that. Hopefully next year, or maybe if they get any money this year, maybe they'll give us some at the end, who knows? But I think to ruin a really good run, a program that was ran expeditiously with proper oversight and proper leadership from the Strategic Partnership Office, it was wrong to remove those funds. And Mr. Lewis, I really do want you to look into that, because for me, someone who is ethical and been to law school, I can tell you right now, if you don't show me the law, then what you're saying is incorrect. So I haven't seen the law that states, or any documentations from the law that states the LDC should not have been receiving funding from the county. Only the county council should. And that was stated by Councilman Burrows. So, and then based on the research that Delegate Turner has done, that's in total contradiction. So we look forward to your meeting invite. So if there are no more questions, we will move on to the 2025 agenda for next month. I don't know if I'm going to be here or not, but yes, Barbara.
Yes. So I do have a question. I wanted to make sure I was understanding in terms of your review and comments on the local impact grant, the $1.8 million.
Mhm.
So we were requesting still what your response is. So the response that I have, I think that your answer was really more based on the first pot of money because it states
Same
here.
response for the second pot of money. Delegate Turner and I, we talked about that. So
You said you did send it? I'm sorry.
yes, I did. We sent that yesterday. Delegate Turner, it was the final revised response.
Mhm.
You might have gotten it from John,
From John.
Delegate Turner's
Oh,
chief of staff,
okay. Can you hold one moment? Let me make sure I check. Hold on one moment.
because we did send that response. We did it together on the phone yesterday. So
Yeah.
our response was that the LDC did not agree with funding that was given out with the first part of money, first pot of money. But our response was we would like the recommendations from this entire council that we submitted in October 24 to go forward for this $1.8 million of funding for 2025. That list that we gave you in October 2024, we would like that to go forward as our recommendations. Can't hear.
You're on mute.
I'm
You're on mute.
sorry. I'm sorry. Those are two different, I don't like to use pots of it, two different groups of money. So that recommendation that you gave us in October was for that first group of money. That was the information you gave us. This group of money is for the $1.8 million.
We understand.
Okay, so we do need a recommendation for that.
We gave you that. We sent
Okay.
you the email and we asked that you attach the same recommendations for the last pot of money that we didn't receive any funds for. We want those same recommendations attached because it came from the entire LDC.
Okay, so the difference though, Dr. Lattimore, the 1.8 million, hold on one moment, let me just pull it up here, is varies. The spending plan, that's $1 million geared to, allocated towards the college. And then it's 580,000 for the schools and 220,000 for community impact grants.
Mhm.
I believe that was a little different from the original one.
No,
So all of those are the same.
yep,
Okay. Give me one moment. Let me just pull that
I
out.
think it was like 5 pages long.
Yes.
Because as a council, everybody had input. So that same input should go for the 1.8 million and however they break it out. Because those nonprofits are still services that are badly needed in this county. And we would like to use those same recommendations.
Okay, even though those are not the same ones that are listed on the 1.8 million. So I just want to make sure we were clear
They're
on
the
that.
same services.
But different organizations. So I'll give you an example. I wish I had my glasses. I'm so sorry. One is Boris Henson Foundation Mental Health Programming. That came under the Community Impact Grant on that first group of money. On the 1.8 million, that is not part of that. So it's two different, like I'm looking at two different budgets here, two different multi-level spending. One is for the first one and the second is for the 1.8.
So then I would preface it as what Delegate Turner and I said yesterday, that the LDC, on behalf of the LDC, we would like money to support the needs of the county for this year. And we don't know what the needs are because we don't have any money to go out and give them any. There was no class. So what is it that you guys want us to recommend? We recommend that we receive funding to give out to nonprofits. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, but, okay, if you want to include that, it's just
Because
that
we
it
don't
doesn't.
have any nonprofit names to give you
No, no, no,
because
no. No, I'm not asking for nonprofit names. What we're asking for is that the $1.8 million budget that what we sent to you all for you to look at it, and the part that you have here, the LDC does not consent to the amendments made by the county council.
correct.
Period. Request that the previous recommendations as voted on, approved and submitted by the LDC be accepted by the county executive.
Correct.
Okay, but when I read that, that's really aligns with that first group. But if you're saying that request that previous recommendations be voted on, those votes have already been taken place.
Okay, so can we say to the fact that the last sentence in that the LDC recommends that the appropriate funding be provided to the LDC to execute services within the nonprofits within the 6 mile radius?
Yes, I mean, you can say whatever works best, that we have some response to the $1.8 million.
Okay, so I'll rephrase that and say be allocated to the nonprofits, the needs of the county, referencing the nonprofits within the 6 mile radius. Because we have a lot of nonprofits.
Okay, what?
Okay,
Yes, because I can't tell you what to say, but as long as you're.
will you get that? Yeah, I'll send you that email as soon as we're done.
Okay, that's perfect, because I
And
have to
then
see.
that,
Right.
do you agree, Delegate Turner?
Yes.
Okay, so you will get that, and then once we send you that, just for everybody's education, what happens next?
So at that point, then it's then presented to the county executive for her review, the team's review, and then they will then submit it to the county council.
And so the county council, according to Councilman Burrows, has the final say on how the funding gets distributed. However, based on what Delegate Turner has found out, Mr. Lewis, the county council, and myself, we're going to get together because that's not true.
Okay, yeah, and I
Okay.
think it's always important to voice your opinion. I totally agree and understand. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
Yes, ma'am.
And so has the funding been given out for this year yet?
No, the
Okay.
budget is not finalized. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, and so when will that funding be given out?
That I'm not too sure. I don't have
Okay,
that
but it
information.
will be after the new county exec gets on board, which is probably in, what's this, April?
June.
June. Okay, so that's
Mhm.
fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we're straight.
Okay, and if I can just go back a bit, you'd mentioned, I believe, 1 or 2 board members or council members are planning to resign. So when they submit the letter, if they can send it to both Alana and myself, so we can have that for our files, and then we can provide that to the appointment office as well.
Okay, yeah, I've already told them both
Okay.
to send it directly to me, and I'll send it to you to make sure that you get it.
Okay, thank you
Okay.
so much, and thank them so much for their work as well.
Yeah, Evelyn did a magnificent job. So again, I want to thank everybody for you know, your hard work on the LDC. We will get this elephant in the room corrected because it's nothing more than transparency. And as taxpayers, we need to understand what is going on in the county and remind the county that we give our time and effort, and so do these nonprofits, to make this county a better place to live. So hopefully we'll have this meeting on Monday. And I'm prayerful that things will work out in for the benefit of the LDC. So with that
Dr.
said,
Lattimore, Dr.
yes,
Lattimore, it's
yes.
James Valentine again. After that meeting, should you all be able to attend, will you be able to provide us with reports?
Yeah, you know what? I'll even call a special meeting. How about that?
That works for me.
Okay, to give everybody a back brief on what came out of that meeting, because you guys need to understand that as members of the LDC. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Right.
So does anyone else have anything else that they would like to bring up? If not, I would like to adjourn the meeting and give you your minutes back. Thank God it's not FBI night, because I probably would bit off. So does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns?
Can I need to ask a question for all of our members that we have on in this LDC. You know, we're supposed to have at least 15 members. Okay, now you see that we got a couple of members that is going to resign, so that even bring us down even lower. Okay, now I don't know if we're going to try to wait until we get our new county exec, or what we should do, Madam Chair.
Well, I recommend that we pretty much wait, so because she's got to do the appointment letters. So
Yes.
what we have now, and it is some folks that just not they're just not present tonight. And I think that we can get whatever business is done. But you know, the new county executive, she can appoint a new chair to the LDC if she would like. And I did tell Barbara that I would stay on until that transition. So, yeah, I think we can just wait and let her give the appointment letter.
I want to say, Madam Chair, Delegate Turner's not going anywhere. Okay.
Well, then you will take control of the reins once I leave.
That's correct. That's correct. I can do it. And I'm going to talk to the new, well, she's not new to me. The new county exec that will be coming in June. Okay, I'm going to give her briefings on our duties. Let her know about the LDC and what it consists of, and I want her to tell me how she wants to handle the LDC moving forward. Okay, and I would love for everyone that's on this call that is an LDC members, please stay, because we need you. Y'all are so intelligent. You give us good feedback. You have shown us that the LDC can be one of the best, just like these other LDCs that I did some investigating on, you know, live and down there in Baltimore, and the Ocean Downs. I mean, their LDC is thriving. I want ours to be the same. I want y'all to know that. So whatever classes or education that we need, and we get up to our 15 members, and we have a clear understanding of everything that we're supposed to do. And I need to know who our lawyer is, because the LDC is supposed to have a lawyer that we can converse with and that can tell us the law.
So Barbara, can you take that tasker?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty.
Find that.
Okay.
I thank you, Barbara.
Thank you,
All right.
Delegate Turner.
You guys enjoy your evening. Happy Easter.
Yes.
Be careful out there. Anyone that, you know, has pretty much lost their job due to everything that's going on in the environment, my hearts and prayers are with you. I was one of those people. So let me just tell you, I'm not alone. And that just, you know, take it in and breathe. You know, we got another year or so, hopefully. Maybe this will all be over. But anyway, I, Toy Lattimore, hereby move that this LDC meeting for April 16th is hereby adjourned. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Everybody in favor? Aye.
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 Bye.
All those opposed? The meeting is hereby adjourned. You guys have a safe and blessed Easter weekend. Thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Hi, Danny. Thank you.
Thank you.